talk us through the MBE thing. How did that come about? And you've now got letters after your name.
Well, I think somebody nominated me, and then I got a letter through the post, quite official looking, from His Royal Highness's office. It was. A letter through the post, complete shock. And I went down to Wintercastle a couple of weeks ago and had that awarded by Prince William. So yeah, a bit of a shock, but a nice one, a nice surprise. Yeah.
Have you changed all your emails now and got the MBE?
The only thing I've done is my LinkedIn so far. I'm quite. I'm not. Yeah, one for the limelight. So I just think I'm doing it slowly. So it can be yesterday's news, but I'm getting there.
Sheffield, you already had a couple of games this season. How are things going at the moment for the Eagles?
Not as well as I was hoping, to be honest. I think off the back of a really good couple of seasons, we've recruited well as well, and we're trying to build. We absolutely know where we're at. Being sat here today as a coach and kind of from Sheffield as a club, as an upcoming club, we certainly know where we want to be in the future, probably medium to long term future. We're just trying to build something at Sheffield. We're trying to get the infrastructure right, so the quality of experience, the training, everything right, and hopefully, we'll build something that players want to come to. So, tough start to the season already with injuries and people missing and stuff. We've only played 2 games, so yeah, it's going to be a tough league. Never mind being part of the Challenge Cup to then have to face Leeds and Lee in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, we see it as an opportunity, and it's always for us a benchmark of where we're at, rather than being in there and we want to compete. We want to show a good account of ourselves, but we certainly know where we're kind of at the moment.
Yeah, I asked Craig Lingard before Sheffield played Wigan in the Men's Challenge Cup. It's kind of, how do you approach that kind of game where you're taking on the Leeds side who've been in the last 2 finals or whatever? There's probably not the chance you're going to win the game, but there's something you can get out.
Yeah, absolutely. We just want a good account for ourselves, and like I said, we're trying to build something in Sheffield. As are the men. We're not a rugby league city, and we're trying to invite people. We're having it as a double header, so the men play to lose. So we're trying to invite people to that game to showcase rugby league. For we've got our 16s players coming. We've got the Sheffield Hatters coming. We want to showcase some women's sport. We want to show that the club are backing it and are behind it. And for us, yes, there is always a Challenge Cup upset. Not so much in the women's game, to be fair, because there is that much of a disparity between us. But I think we just want a good account of ourselves, and at full strength, we'd certainly have we'd probably challenge in patches. We are under strength now. We are missing some of our key players with injuries, but we just want to go out and give it our best, and hopefully give a good account of women's rugby league in Sheffield, really. So be a tough one.
As you say, it's a big city, a football city, as probably most are in this country, but a great opportunity to showcase the sport.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're trying. We've seen really good growth with our women's team as well. We've got 2 teams. I'm just very keen on, rather than players or women getting in the cars and driving past Sheffield as they go up the M1, we want to create something at Sheffield where women want to come and play for us, and a girls' pathway, and almost be that bridge between the South and the Rugby League heartlands, because Sheffield, we are kind of floating on our own a little bit. So we have big challenges because we're kind of isolated and on our own, but actually some real opportunity because there isn't that much competition, certainly rugby league, for a little while away. So yeah, we're hoping to capitalise on it, and it's certainly a long-term plan rather than an immediate success.
It's having 2 spots at the red and gold, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that an immediate sign of how well things are going, because you've got that depth of players available to you at this stage of the journey?
Yeah, it's a real positive, but sometimes it's a big challenge because us as a foundation and at Sheffield, if somebody's new to rugby league, they can absolutely come and play. But we've also got players who don't want to play competitively; they want to play socially. It's finding the right playing opportunities for every player that we've got. So yeah, it's a real positive, and I think we're still always adding to squads. Players are still wanting to come and play. So yeah, it's really good. We've got good numbers. We just probably need to grow kind of from the bottom now. We've started some 16s. We just need to grow our own kind of pathway and players to ultimately, have feeder and again, the aim is to have an 19s in a couple of years, and be in a position when hopefully one day we're ready and have got the squad that we can have a go at playing in Super League.
How important is the partnership with York? Because we saw players last year go from Sheffield to York and playing grand finals.
Oh, listen, it's essential for us. I think as well with injuries and stuff, and I think last year Lindsay had some injuries, and we had 2 or 3 of our players going, and I think you can see it in Lisa Parker. Was with us last year, the year before. I asked Lindsay if some of our players could go and train with them and see what she thought, and Lisa's now a starting player for them and playing for them, and is with York now. So yeah, we're really proud of that, and I think it's whereas you don't want your best players leaving all the time, we want to have a genuine pathway for people who come and play for us, that we have got that pathway with them, and that's not always an easy kind of in to get into some of these women's teams. So I think that's really good on our part going that way. But for us, we've now got 3 or 4 of their 19s, and it's really helped us out. A couple of players from last year who were playing for us. So yeah, it's really positive. And again, it's having those relationships and actually a genuine want to grow and build. It's relatively short season, and Super League squads have a smaller number to pick from now, and there'll be players coming back from injury who need some game time, and that gives them an opportunity without throwing them into a top flight game, but also just to keep some game times for her players as well. But yeah, it's certainly been positive for us in the fact when we've been really short and we've needed a couple of players. But I think for the bigger picture in development, it's genuinely positive for growth.
I mean, you only retired a couple of years ago, but in terms of the game in Vegas and the criticism of the players on social media, are you kind of glad you're not playing these days, or would you rather play in this year?
I wouldn't want to play to Vegas. I'm not going to lie. It's a real double-edged sword, that one, because as ex-players, we voice and we fight, and for growth you have to play the Southern Hemisphere teams. Do we want to play France, Wales, without no disrespect to them, do we want to play France and Wales and upcoming teams every year? Because yes, it gives us some confidence in where we're at, but actually until you get on a pitch against the Aussies and the Kiwis, you've no idea where you're at. And I think the world can see where the NRLW is going in the women's game in Australia, so they are another level. Personally, I didn't think it'd be that score. Being realistic, I think if you can keep around 40-50 points with the Aussies at the minute, then you're doing all right. So I think it was a bit of a shock score, but yeah, I think it'd be a tough one to take. Probably if I was playing, I probably wouldn't have spoken to anybody yet about it, to be honest. But it's really tough because you see a score like that, but you certainly know it's not through lack of effort. So it's a really challenging one for the players to, I would say, get over that and try and come back from that. But there's hopefully some things in place that will hopefully make us better when we meet them again.